Hello, everybody. This is Bill, and this is Dawn,
Hey.
and that's Marty, and that's Chris, and the distinguished Oriskany Jim, and we are coming to you from all over the U.S. of A. And we have some things to talk about. The world is going. We're going to keep politics out of it, no matter where you stand. This is not a politics show, but we are going to talk about some things that affect the wargaming world based upon some of the things going on in the world right now.
Some business
That
stuff.
and much, much more. Marty, you're going to dance for us in 3, 2, 1. Hi, we're back. Sorry, this is the Raw show because I don't have an editing computer with us. So we are doing this, as you can tell, we're doing it from a laptop.
Use your words.
Laptop.
And Bill pulled that out and went really fast. I have way better moves when it's the right tempo.
Sorry.
That's my excuse.
From a laptop here in our other home in the Keys. And then we'll see what happens. Anything can go. So as typical, before we get into the meat and taters, we talk about what's going on. I know Jim's got quite a bit. So Jim, if you're okay, I'm going to let you go last so you can just hit on out of it, okay?
Absolutely.
All right. So we'll go with Chris. What you been up to?
I'm still a little hot that you guys drove right past me yet again.
Do you want to tell him?
I-95 and just didn't even wave out the window as you went by me on the way to the Keys.
Not a flip of the bird and
That's
come down.
Oh, Jim, we did just have this discussion though, and I said my next work trip, if we're driving, well, actually, I said maybe not even a work trip. Who knows? But anyway, we will build an extra day in, and we will we'll come in and out of Lauderdale, and if we fly in, we'll fly into Lauderdale instead of Miami, and that way we can go out to dinner or something.
Oh, if you guys are coming in through Miami, then I don't know you. I'm not going to Miami for anybody.
We drove this time, but normally they fly me in and out of Miami. But
gotcha.
we can make alternate arrangements if we plan ahead.
Miami, Mogadishu, they're both equally terrible. I'm not going to that time.
That's fair.
Sorry.
That's fair.
Sorry to everybody who lives in Miami. But
I mean, after you run a mile through the city, do you at least have, a safe place to land and a Pakistani guy with a tray of water for you?
All right, Chris, hit it.
Make it simple. I haven't really done anything other than some gaming.
Yeah.
I haven't done any hobby, so.
Kind of gaming?
The kind that Jim doesn't like to talk about.
I don't like to talk about. What are you talking about? Are you talking about role playing games? Because we run role playing games here on the Cigarette Podcast channel.
Yeah. So we just started a new campaign last night. A buddy's running Curse of Strahd.
Oh, nice. Is that what we did when we did kind of the one shot special with Dan at Dragster?
No.
Wasn't that Strahd? No.
We did Ravenloft.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's close. Still Barovia.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did the classic. We did Ravenloft.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. So.
Cool.
Awesome.
All right. Moving on. Marty.
Well, I've been working on a couple of things. So my Saga dudes continue. I've got 3 of them done. I painted a bunch of 6mm buildings because I got Steel Rift at Adepticon, and I got my first 3 Steel Rift guys done. Where did I put? Oh yeah, here we go. So I got 3 little mechs.
Hold on, let's bring that back up. Let me take a look at it and see.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
So those are in 6mm, so that they would be compatible with.
Yup.
There you go.
In other games.
Yes, they would, sir. One game at a time for me. Let me ease in.
Once you go down the path of BattleTech.
I mean,
I didn't say
it's like Napoleonics.
I didn't say it.
I'm here to tell you, Catalyst Games is still on fire at Adepticon.
Yeah.
They didn't bring their giant inflatable mech this year.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, but yeah, that's still very popular.
Cool.
And they had a large gaming room for tournaments and whatnot.
Yep.
Very nice.
And then I think that's it. Question mark. Yeah, that's enough. Yeah. I also tried to clean up my little space over here a little bit. Epic fail, but I did get some stuff put away.
Well, there you go.
Nice.
Cool.
I have gone reverse. I've made more of a mess in my.
Does this surprise anybody? Raise your hand.
Checks out.
Mhm.
Well, I don't have to go back to Paradise Canyon anymore.
Yeah, you got all the stuff out of the old place.
Hey, there you go. There you go.
Yep.
Cool.
I got a lot of shit.
You
to
do
go
have a
through.
lot of stuff.
Yeah.
All right, Dawn, what you got?
Absolutely nothing. I don't even have magic
You
to
lied.
talk
You got
about
magic
this week.
cards, didn't you?
No, we talked about that last time.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't you have to buy them when you're traveling?
Because we've been down here and we've been I've been working in person this whole week. So I literally have not. I did, I played Arena once while we were here while Bill was napping. So
and you've been posting a lot of nasty pictures.
Nasty pictures.
Just he
Wow,
finds it insulting because he's not in the keys. And we are.
Yeah.
So that's what he means. Yeah.
I see. Wait until you see the pictures tomorrow.
We all have choices, Chris. You could go down there anytime.
Right? It's not like you don't have a place to stay, you loser.
Bill, what have you been doing?
Actually, I primed a little cannon group in winter garb. I got from some guy in Florida. So I'm going to do a whole video. I started doing a video on priming it, and it just I can't even explain what it did. It just pixelated the shit out of it. So I have to start the video over. But yeah, that's going to be a video when it's our rotation again. It'll be the Oriskany special.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
There you go.
So the video was pixelated, not the model, like when you spray.
Yeah, the models are not pixelated.
Yeah,
I didn't put it through a
first I was like,
transporter and
how
hit
did
the wrong
they
button.
like the model?
I've seen Primer do some weird stuff to model.
Right?
Yeah,
like,
I have too.
I'm like, is he talking about there's a bunch of
But they're metal
texture?
minis, so
I primed one of my small BSRs and with the ink, and it did not go as well as it should have.
Yeah. Other than that, I was looking at stuff from Adepticon, and there really isn't anything that's like, oh my god, I gotta have. So I think well, there's the high elves.
I was gonna say that.
Cathay.
Oh, they are pretty. Don wants those.
I mean,
they do look pretty cool.
I don't want anything to do with Old World. I don't want to get into the game.
Yes, you do.
But damn, those are some nice models.
Well, did you see the latest drop for the high elves, the bird chariot, the hawk chariot, or something like that?
No, I haven't seen
I
that
don't
one.
know.
We've been kind of off the radar this week, so.
Okay, Don, I am not enabling Bill.
He needs no assistance from anybody, but thank you. All right.
But when he sees that, he's going to be buying it. I'm just.
Yeah, probably.
We'll see. I've been really good. Tim?
It's been pretty busy lately. So just real fast. Recently, we finally blew some of the dust off of Darkstar, just so we're not always talking about military history or modern military history. So we usually do it virtually, but hey, it was a free Sunday, so we took it down to the club. Jen and I did some demo games of Darkstar actually in person, which gets to me, like physically, like the pieces on the map board.
Nice.
Old physical hex mat, which I can't believe has withstood as much time and damage and abuse as it has, but still looks pretty good.
Well, that's cool. Awesome.
I wish I remember the name of it so I could give him a shout out, but honestly, it's been so long ago since I bought this thing. I don't remember where the hell I got it. So that was a lot of fun. A lot of work. I remember why we do it virtually.
Yeah.
Then I played in one of actually two of Mark Ritchie's games. The first one was a weird scenario for moderns from the Iran-Iraq War, the 1980 to 88 war. So I played the Iraqis on defense versus an Iranian counterattack. And we might have a video on that sometime in the summer. But it's, we try not to do just always, Vietnam, Gulf War, like the same, 2 or 3 modern scenarios over and over and over again. So yeah, it's a modern scenario. It's a huge war, but it just doesn't get any coverage because it's kind of depressing. Really, it's like it's World War One, the sequel. It's it's a real nasty one. Now there's also a year-long project going on at the club that me and Mark Ritchie are working on, commemorating the 250th birthday of the U.S. Marine Corps. That's pretty much all this year. So I mean, we've already done the 2 battles at Quezon, or the 2 episodes at Quezon. We've done. He did the Boxer Rebellion, the Marines of the Boxer Rebellion in China at the turn of the century, which I was not there for, sadly. We've done
the actual battle or the game.
No, the Boxer Rebellion. Oh yes. No, I'm not that old. Not 1901. The turn of last century. Yeah. I'm the youngest guy on this crew, so I think that's why I still hang out with you guys. This is like the only group of people I hang out with where I'm still.
It's all coming into focus now.
Yeah, I think he's right. You are the youngest guy.
Baby. Oldest right here.
Sorry, Jim. Go ahead.
Oh, no, it's okay. So, but speaking with old games, we also ran Belleau Wood, June 1918. So it's been a while since I looked at Belleau Wood. This is a very, very famous battle for the Marine Corps. It's where the Marines get the name Devil Dogs from. Yep. That's what the Germans called us, Teufelhunden, or Hounds of Hell, or however you want to pronounce it, however you want to translate it. It finally came out as Devil Dogs, so we've been Devil Dogs ever since. So I played the Marines there, me and Tom. We did pretty well in that game. Got footage of that. That might be a video coming up. I'm trying not to turn it into the Marine channel, but it's going to be tough this year because a lot of the games of the club are going to be very Marine focused.
Jim, knowing that you're a Marine, that doesn't surprise us because that's a very Marine thing. That once a Marine, always a Marine, right?
Well, my head agrees with you. My belly does not. When people say that to me, as far as once in, never out, or there's no such thing as a former Marine. My waistline would agree with you.
One killed the president, the other climbed the clock tower.
There you go.
Just saying, I think they got excommunicated.
Overachievers.
And Marty, your local Congress critter was a former Marine, isn't she?
State senator, yeah. My state senator is a prior service Marine.
Nice.
Yeah, her ad that came out said former Marine.
She'll dust off that uniform for parades and shit every now and then. She's the quartermaster of the local Legion Hall here in Aurora. So
nice. So we did the first day of Iwo Jima. Me and Dylan in heavily modified Panzerleader. We did that back for the 80th anniversary. We did that on the day. So that game's up. But since then, Pete Panzeri, another big or Panzeri, I should say his name correctly. Pete Panzeri, famous guy in the community, big friend of the channel, ran his Iwo Jima mega game. So we were going to do that on the actual anniversary, but it got kicked down the road, and we finally ran it. I filmed it, so we've got some videos of that coming out. I know we did 2 big Iwo Jima episodes, not quite back-to-back, so I won't completely apologize for that. When you see this table's 16 feet long. We have like 400 miniatures on the table. It's absolutely monstrous. And on a more objective aspect of it, his rule set that he designed himself deals almost exclusively on the operational scale, and we don't get nearly enough operational scale gaming here on our channel, so I wanted to feature it for that reason as well.
Nice.
And what we're working on for tomorrow is Battle of Concord. So we're recording this on the 18th. I think it's going out on the 19th. Hopefully it goes out on the 19th.
Yes, sir.
April 19th, 2025 is 1/4 of a millennium. Exactly 250 years since the shot heard round the world. It is the opening day of the American Revolution.
Down with the tea drinkers.
There they go. That's going to be, victory or death. That's going to be the battles. I put that in huge air quotes for anyone not listening or not watching but listening. Huge air quotes there. The Battle of Lexington. I think OK Corral killed more people than. Actually, that's not really true, but it's close.
I was going to say it's close.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Yeah. So, Lexington is more of a shootout than a battle. It's more of an accident, really. It's almost a friendly fire incident. Concord was an actual engagement that killed a grand total of, wait for it, 5 people. That's on both sides, by the way, and wounded 8. So it's not a huge battle.
Wow.
But
was that because, Jim, was that because of tactics, or was it because of the rifles? The British they weren't
both sides had orders. This is another one of those battles. Again, this is the first day of the American Revolution, a war that begins completely by accident. And it's both sides are still consider themselves Englishmen. So this is like the 82nd Airborne marching down, like one of the main avenues in Chicago. And the Chicago PD is lined up on the side of the road, and there's enough animosity where when somebody fires a shot, to this day, nobody knows who, they actually start shooting at each other. And they spend the rest of the day wondering, well, should we shoot or should we shoot? We're all Americans here. It becomes a very, both sides had strict orders: do not fire until fired upon. So if the orders had been obeyed and everything had gone smoothly, that war never would have started, at least not on that day. We dodged a couple bullets before. Obviously, everyone knows about the Boston Tea Party in '73, which is not part of the American Revolution. Everyone knows about the Boston Massacre, which is even further back. Didn't start a war there. Didn't make it through this one. There was a shooting incident. Nobody really knows who's to fault. At Lexington, and then we have a little bit more detail about what's going on Concord. Someone fired a warning shot. It was definitely the British. And then before the Captain Walter Laurie, who was the guy standing on the bridge, a very badly inexperienced captain. Also, he was commanding 3 elements of 3 regiments that weren't even his, so none of the men were listening to him anyway. He couldn't even get his guys into the correct formation. Richard Sharp, he is not. Let's just put it that way. And as 400 Continentals, he has less than 100 men. As 400 400 Patriot militia are coming down towards him. Somebody fires a warning shot. He tells his men to hold their fire. Nobody listens. They fire anyway. And down go 2 people. 4 more are wounded. The Patriots return fire. They kill 3 of the King's soldiers. And those are the first British KIAs of the American Revolution. And from that point, there was no going back. That was the point of no return. But that was about it. Then the Colonials withdrew. They watched the other column come back to the bridge, cross back over. I won't lay out the whole map and everything, but pretty much they're just standing there on a nearby hill watching the British walk by. Nobody shoots at them. Because again, are we actually at war now? Is this a thing?
Yeah.
Or people are just like going home?
It's all brand new.
Drinking all night? Yeah. And of course, famously or infamously, maybe the real battle starts later that afternoon when that British column starts marching home. It's 17 miles back to Boston, and it turns into Mogadishu. It really does, except we're the Somalis. And this British column of 700, none of them are line companies. They're all Grenadiers, Royal Marines, or light infantry. These are all semi-elite troops, and kind of like Mogadishu, drawn from about 10 different regiments. So there's no cohesion between all these different units. And kind of like Mogadishu, you've got Rangers, you've got obviously Deltas, you've got Malays, you've got Pakistanis, you've got 10th Mountain. Who's really in charge? Who's on first, who's on second, and they do 17 Mogadishu miles back to back. And by the way, they had marched all night 17 miles from Boston, so they did 34 miles, half of it under fire without a wink of sleep. So yeah, the British soldiers are definitely pretty hardcore. But for 17 miles, they march back through in every farmhouse, every village. They eventually get attacked by over 4,000 Continental militia. We'll never really know how many. And 73 killed, and I can't remember how many wounded. And that's the real battle. But we're not going to do that in miniature because the battlefield is literally 17 miles long. So that's not a good thing for a miniature table, unless you do like one specific little farmhouse or something. But that's the real battle. And then obviously 73 killed and a couple hundred wounded. Okay, now it's an actual war. And
things are getting serious.
Yeah, this was all on 19th April 1775, 250 years ago tomorrow. And it's, they call it the shot heard around the world, even though to this day nobody knows who fired it. I highly expect it wasn't even fired at Lexington. I think someone behind a barn was shooting a sick horse or something. I'm serious. Nobody saw it. It didn't hit anybody, and to this day, nobody claims that the other side definitively shot it, and no one's claiming credit for it. So I'm fully. I have imagined there wasn't even anybody on the actual Lexington Green, but somebody fired a shot somewhere and started a war.
Yeah.
That was eventually going to, of course, involve the entire, what would become the United States, the entire British Empire, 6 nations of the Iroquois Confederacy, France, Netherlands, Spain, what is today India. There's going to be a huge battle in Gibraltar, the English Channel. I mean, it's going to become what you would almost call World War II, because some people call the 7 Years' War World War I. I mean, it becomes a monstrous global war that doesn't end until 1783. Yeah, it's eventually going to set up the French Revolution, downfall of the French monarchy, and the halo of Napoleon. So you're welcome to our European friends for that. You know, the French monarchy eventually collapsed because they spent all their money trying to help us out.
I was gonna say that's how we repaid the French for helping us out.
Yeah, we got their king guillotined, which maybe he had coming anyway, but that's another whole discussion.
Interesting. Cool. All right. Let's talk some doom and gloom. That's always fun and exciting.
I've worked all week. I don't need to do that.
Well, the truth be told, unless you've been living underground without social media, based on world climate, there's this tariff thing going on, right? And of course, everybody's freaking out, rightfully so, because they don't know what's going on, right? Because it was going, then it was paused, and then China's retaliating and go on and on. And this is not a political show. We're not talking politics. I don't care who sides you're on, what, blah, blah. Just talking directly how it affects gaming world. So one of the things that is a huge concern right now, there's some people that aren't really concerned, but there are quite a few that are kind of just waiting to see, is Gen Con, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that come from overseas to come to Gen Con. There was, I'm going to look it up. But, my point on Gen Con, or my point of view on Gen Con, is this year's already paid for.
Yeah.
Your booth's already paid for. The only thing is bringing stock in from overseas. If you do that. So Battle of Hoth, what? Anyway,
focus.
Sorry. So people are freaking, and a few companies have submitted some things online. You want to talk about Mantic?
Sure. So, like, for example, Mantic has kind of put a pause on their newest release in the Halo game, just because everybody is, even if people are willing to commit to purchase things at this time, if they do go through with shipping, the money they're going to have to charge on top of what people have already paid in order to deliver things, like, is possibly an amount of people don't want to stomach, especially when you think you got a deal and you've already paid for something, and then now in order to actually get it, it's going to cost more. Like, it's just added this other layer of I don't know, bad taste in people's mouths, I guess, is the nicest way to say it. But I don't know, it's a real testament to how heavily we rely on the companies overseas to produce things.
So who might actually, I hate to say this, might actually benefit from all these shenanigans is Games Workshop, because they produce their shit in Nottingham. Their miniatures aren't produced in China.
Are you sure? I thought they farmed some stuff out.
The vast majority of their stuff still comes out of Nottingham. So.
But there's even tariffs on Great Britain. I mean,
but
it's
not
just
154%, which is currently what
that is
China
true.
is. Tomorrow that'll be a different
That's
number.
true.
Up or down, no clue.
It's probably, to your point, it's probably also less of a concern for very well-established games and a ginormous concern for anyone who's trying to stand something up. Like, this may have potentially pulled the rug out from under.
And how many game companies do we know that, even though they have some very popular IP and that may be a well-known and distributed game, the company itself is like 4 dudes. So, some are smaller than that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, turns out there's a lot of little tiny companies that do this stuff on a shoestring, and this could potentially kill them.
Yeah.
I did find the article. It's Greater Than Games. If you're familiar with tabletop gaming, they're pretty big in tabletop gaming, not miniature gaming per se, but more board gaming. They pretty much have said that they are not producing anything other than what's already on the shelves. So its website will remain operational. This is from them directly, with in-stock products available to order. Goods in the current catalog will still be produced as needed. Updates will be made later at the date. So currently, all new projects are suspended as the global tariff situation remains volatile. So, and I know this is not the first or the last. That Makes Sentinels is one of their games. You would know them if you saw it. Be honest, honestly, but yeah. Gloomhaven is held up.
Yes.
So the response to Gloomhaven.
Yeah.
So, it's a big mess. So, what's the silver lining right now?
It's gonna help. No, you already said it. What's on the shelf?
Production.
So, what's on the shelf locally?
Yeah.
Go to your friendly local game store. 100%.
Yeah. So, if you're looking to get some add-on pieces or start a new game or whatnot, go to your game store and support them by buying stock, because if the tariffs actually happen, I don't know how they're going to survive, honestly. So think about it. Just say, for argument's sake, that a pack of Magic cards is printed and packaged in China.
No.
How much is a normal pack of booster pack?
They already cost too much. They're like $6.
So now add on about $12 more.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
triple the price.
So, do you have a 2-pack a day habit like Marty does?
I know, right? If I math it out, that's probably a very sad analogy. We're not going to talk about that, Chris.
But,
so I listen to or watch the Lords of War. It's a YouTube channel, and it's a game store in Canada that a couple of guys run. And actually, I saw them at Adepticon. But they talk about like kind of behind the scenes hobby shop stuff, right? And one of their episodes last week was trying this very topic, trying to figure out what's this whole tariff situation going to do? Who's going to survive? Is it going to kill games? Is it going to kill the hobby stores because their margins are so slim? I mean, and I don't think anybody's got any real hard and fast answers one way or the other right now. But it's not good. All the volatility and instability.
Yeah, I mean, I think about it. Canada's kind of doubly screwed.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say that because, for whatever reason, we have these tariffs against Canada. I don't think the EU or China or anything is going to have tariffs against Canada, right? It's all kind of being centered on.
Here's the problem,
USA.
though. Where does the distribution from Canada come from? The U.S. That's what they were discussing. Is very little of that is a direct ship from a manufacturer. It goes through one of the basically there's like 3 large games distributors in the U.S.
Yeah.
That's where everybody in North America gets their stuff.
That makes sense.
You know, so yeah, you're gonna feel it because, you know, if I'm buying something from the EU, I have it shipped over. You know, whatever that tariff is now that's in place, and even though it's a Canadian order, it's gone through America. I've received it. The tariff gets paid. Now I'm going to charge you that price and pass that along to my hobby store, who is then
going
to pass it on to the customer.
Yeah, I mean they don't
have a choice at that point.
Yeah, I was gonna say, even if they're the coolest people in the world, they can't eat all that. I mean,
right.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
And think about it this way, you know, with inflation or whatever the market's doing, people don't have as much disposable income, right? Now you have less disposable income. Plus, you've put all these tariffs, and you've increased the cost of a game 2-3 times as much.
Yeah.
Who's going to spend that money to play that game?
And gaming is a luxury.
Yep.
It's true. Do we think, you know, we've gotten into a culture where everyone outsources their stuff from overseas because it is cheaper to produce it that way, and we're able to ultimately keep the cost down. Do we see this opening opportunity for more internal, you know, stateside or whatever, direct countryside producing? Still going to cost more than everybody's used to paying, but all of a sudden, is that looking more like a viable
so
solution?
I read an article about this a couple of days ago, and kind of the consensus that came out of that was that ship has sailed because we gave up that manufacturing capacity so long ago that you would have to create whole facilities ground up to be able to create the production capacity, and then you're going to have to pay living wage for Americans to be your labor, and not some sweatshop prices from other places. So it could it be done? Yes, but could they get it off the ground and make it viable so that place could stay in business to make the things? Probably not.
It's not going to be fast enough. Well, I mean, to your point.
And that's 2 years away if I started today, for instance.
Hops. I mean, at the very least, I should say.
Plus, we just have a world war.
Threaten me with
not do that.
That's what happened last time. We're just changed our manufacturing. I mean, that's an extreme thing, but I mean, to your guys' point, it's going to take years to build the infrastructure to
start making, you know, heavy industry and cars and aircraft and stuff like that. Yeah, sure. But for a war game is a PDF. You're going to make some plastic components and, you know, maybe a game board and some terrain. Like, you know, I'm not saying it's not nothing, but, you know, putting out, you know, 20mm miniatures and, you know, building fleets of B-29 bombers, it's not really the same thing. You know, I think it'll still take way too long to save, you know, I think the current, you know, I hate to say it, but, you know, a lot of the stores that are out there now, it might facilitate the rise of the next generation in 3 or 4 years. But I mean,
and to Jim's point, you know, we'll use World War II as an example. All those companies were had already possessed that production capacity. They just changed it to a different product.
That's why they were tapped.
So we don't have that for the gaming industry right now.
We don't have that for really any industry anymore.
For a lot of it,
I mean, we saw it happen a little in COVID with the way everybody needed to get creative with cranking out supplies of all different kinds. I mean, so like there is some capacity. It's not the same. It certainly isn't that level of complex in terms of if you're looking for places with molds to produce miniatures, and like that's highly specialized. Like I don't think that's going to be a super easy solution. But to Jim's point, you're right. I mean, like for book publications and like things like that, and cardboard, you know, like, you know, standees and stuff like that. Like I think someone should be able to flip a switch and do that.
And it might not be the same capacity immediately.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
you know, And then we know some smaller games that are all done here in the States. You know, you've got Blackout and the like. You know, they're manufactured up in Minnesota.
Yeah.
So we were just talking. We were just talking about. We were just not talking about BattleTech. Let me. We were just not talking about BattleTech, and of course, you know, Catalyst Game Labs has its miniatures, but Iron to Wind Miniatures still makes their original BattleTech line, and that's a barn in New Hampshire. And they have that centrifugal machine, and they put out the old school pewter miniatures that you have to pin, and I mean, it's still there.
I mean, our good friend.
Because again,
Morris,
we're talking about games. Now, if we're going to talk about like the American economy in general, first of all, I don't think any of us are qualified to talk about that. Number two, we don't want to get into politics. And number three, we're not talking about the auto industry or heavy steel or tech or rebuilding our infrastructure or anything like that. But to make little tabletop games, I mean I'm not saying it's not nothing. I'm trying to make light of the problem, but you can start building that stuff. Without a huge, a little warehouse you rent in a little commercial park somewhere, you'd probably, with a little bit of investment, start cranking something out.
Yeah, and personally, I've got enough pile of shame that's going to keep me busy for the next couple of years.
This is also true. We're coming off of a period. We're coming off of a period like the last 2015 to 2024. We're coming off of a period where everybody had 52 games for the one game they actually played. So I mean, at the same time, let's get real.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
I mean, now we've already seen 3D printing become very popular and people getting into it. And I wonder if this will make that even more so.
The problem is a lot of the 3D printers are I don't know of any that are manufactured over here.
The actual printers themselves.
But I mean those that have them though, Germany, you could be real popular real quick because that could be one of the solutions.
Well, and I know my resin that I get is all from China.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
But I mean,
I
mean, you could start.
Yeah, that's from China.
Yep.
I'm like, God, where does that come from?
There's the old joke that the free Tibet signs are made in China. I mean, literally everything. It's probably not. It's probably not correct.
I mean, I'm pretty sure as long as you're paying them, they'll make it. They don't give a crap what it says.
Yeah.
However, there have been some advances. One of the things you can do, you take some of your old FDM prints that either you no longer want or failed or whatever. You can grind them up, you put them in the new thing, and it'll create filament for you. So you can start producing your own filament.
Nice.
Interesting.
I mean, does this mean Wargamers Vault is about to see a boom? Because, to Jim's point, a rule set's just PDF, right?
Our friend Mark Ritchie sells his tactical combat system on Wargamers Vault. I mean, it's there. People keep telling me to put Darkstar on Wargamers Vault. I don't think it's going to sell anything, but it's a PDF.
You'd be surprised.
Or like the In Country 2.0, right? I got the starter set. I've got 19 miniatures in there, and their little tools and doodads. You know what I didn't have? A rule book, because the rule books weren't ready. So I've got the PDF version of the rule book right now. I'll get a hard copy. I mean, that'll follow on at some time. But if I wanted to play today, it's the copy that I have printed out back here that I would have to use.
Yeah. Oh, and Steel Rift, you can actually do a full digital download of the starter game.
I did a full digital download of all the rules. Yes.
Well, yeah, that too. But you can. Their starter kit that we each got.
Yeah, you can get the STLs.
You can get the starter kit for $15 cheaper. And Marty and I were both like, you know what? For $15, it's worth it.
Yeah, I'll take the ones in the box that you've already built.
Yeah, and the free manual.
Yeah. And the nice rules and the little ruler and all the doodads that come with it.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you guys don't think this is going to affect gaming as much as people perceive it.
I don't. I think it's going to affect it. I don't think it's going to affect it long term. The way it's not the end of the world as we know it.
I think that I think that this could kill a lot of small companies, to be honest, because it doesn't. I mean, this could all be done in 6 months. But if I don't pay you for 6 months, how tight do things get at your house? Because I know at my house, things are going to get. I'm gonna be living off of moldy bologna and the generic mac and cheese out of the box.
You'll be fighting your dogs for your kibble.
Yeah.
I just came off of 4 months of unemployment. No, thank you.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
But then again, who knows? It could be over next week. So
hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, and to be fair, we maybe not to this degree, but I mean, like, things over the industry have waxed and waned over time anyway. And like we talk about, like, the balloon getting so big, it's got to burst at some point. You know, some stuff goes, then we make room for new, but the cost adjustment is the only thing that's like.
So an
Wargaming's been huge since Avalon Hill in the early 50s.
I was just going to say, just crack out the old games.
So an interesting, perhaps.
Survived the oil embargo, survived the 80s, survived the 70s depression.
So an interesting side effect of all this, though, might be that some of these smaller companies sell their IPs to other ones. I mean, God, don't let it be Asmodee buying them up, but
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, oh God.
But I mean,
I was just going to say, yay, more consolidation. Yay.
But that might be the only way the IP survives or remains viable, right? For some of these little companies.
And I know
we saw that Relic Knights is back. Did you guys see Relic Knights at Adepticon?
I might have. I don't remember if I did. I know Asmodee teamed up with Loot Studios for,
off the top of my head,
Malediction.
Relic Knights was a game that was made by Soda Pop Miniatures. They did several Kickstarters, and let's just say they didn't deliver very good. They went out of business. All of a sudden, bing, there's Relic Knights. It's a long story. If you know gaming from several years ago, it was Soda Pop and what was the other name?
Ninja Division.
Ninja Division.
Sounds familiar. I remember. I put this. I've seen. I remember seeing commercials for it.
I mean, there was
Relic
Blade there. Not the same.
Yeah, no, that's different. That's different. Yeah.
No, so they did several videos with Beast of War for Relic Knights back in the day. Anyway, but so the way I look at it with this whole mess that's going on is, I agree, Marty, there might be some consolidation of smaller companies getting out of the business, and the ones that have a little bit more financial backing sweeping up those IPs that are actually doing well, or have a potential to do well. Like Carnivale got swept up by TT Combat, Drop Zone Commander by
that was a while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Dave got rid of it. Do you remember his last name?
Yeah.
Marty's still waiting on someone to actually use the IP for Dust 1947.
Yeah, and Simon owns it apparently. At least they own enough that they're able to produce 8 miniatures and a comic book on it.
Interesting.
Well, I saw that Conflict 47 had some big announcement.
It's coming, buddy. Yeah, so they were demoing it at Adepticon, and it will be tariffs and our conversation aside. It is planned to be released this fall.
Yeah,
full release.
Did you do, Marty? Didn't you do a full video on that with them? A big interview and everything?
I don't know if I would say full or big, but yeah, I talked to Pete, the guy from Warlord Games that spearheaded that whole project, and
those videos are up.
I'm just glad the sound worked out. I was concerned that
Yeah, no, the sound was actually very good.
We're in a convention hall, in the vendor hall. We've got all of the CMON games on one side, and all of the Warhammer and Games Workshop games on the other side of it. So I mean, there's 3,000 people in there.
Yeah. And not too far away, you got people yelling teeth.
Which is what got me to go over there so I could do it.
Well, I mean, to finish up this topic, it's going to create a multifaceted. There's going to be multiple spokes around the hub. I'm going to probably, to Marty's point, we'll see some consolidation. The strong will survive. Some game stores are going to close if all the tariffs go through, like they're saying. Once they run out of stock, I mean, I don't see how they're going to say I have to charge you this much money, because nobody's going to buy it. Honestly, I mean, I can't even see Games Workshop 40K fanboys buying stuff. I can.
Triple what they already cost, or double what
I
they
was
already
gonna
cost?
say that's a facet that has the income. Like
I'm just gonna go ahead and
been in it.
I'm gonna say the quiet part out loud. That's a fucking cult. They'll pay it. Not everybody, but there's
So
enough of them.
How much Skaven do you have there, Marty?
Also, and then
He's
we're
not a
talking
cult
about
member.
old
He's-
world earlier.
He's not a cult member. He's still just an acolyte. So that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, they're still trying to recruit me. Okay,
yeah.
my parents won't let me out after curfew. I'm okay.
Right. But on the other side, it may open creativity from a local standpoint, where you might see some people creating rule sets, going into Blender or some other CAD, creating minis.
Yeah, ZBrush them up or whatever.
Yeah.
Well,
ZBrush.
or you might see people expanding. Instead of the only way you can get a manual is buying the $60 manual. Maybe they'll start selling the PDF. Or something like that. People are flexible.
Yeah.
I think this will crush the crap out of the Kickstarter GameFound platform.
Oh, hell yeah.
Talk about that already has such an element of risk to it, but I bet no one touches that with a 10-foot pole.
On the stuff that you get physical, the STLs and other things like that are still going to go strong.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I would venture.
But,
I would
We're talking the big Kickstarters, just like Gloomhaven.
As far as desktop publishing, STL files, 3D printing, that democratization of the gaming industry has been going on for quite a while anyway. This might accelerate it.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
For sure.
So are we taking the over-under on stuff like this? We're all doing
So, I was just thinking of
I'm holding the wait to be seen.
I was just thinking about it. So, 3 modern games, if you will. One's kind of more of a mech game, but Enemy Spotted Studios with Blackout, Echo Dark Studios with In Country, and John Chang's Black Powder Red Earth. Those are all. I'm gonna say this out loud. All American games, because everything.
Does he produce this stuff in the U.S.?
And no offense, John, if you watch
I
this,
did not know
no
that.
offense, he's got the box price to prove it. Because,
I was just gonna say that kind of made that come into perspective a bit.
but it is all produced and sourced within the U.S. for all 3 of those companies.
Yeah.
Yeah, Knuckle Duster.
Yep, Forrest, right down the road from us.
Yep.
Over there. That guy, fortunately, was so busy I wasn't able to talk to him, because I tried to get in there a couple of times because he was at Adepticon, and Forrest is awesome. Why wouldn't you want to talk to him?
Absolutely.
Yep.
I hope he's at hope he's at Little Wars. I believe he's supposed to be there. So then I'll catch him in a couple weeks.
And a lot of the smaller companies, they don't need the scale of manufacturing that you can only get in China. Marty and I bought some 3D print or laser cut 3D or mini buildings and stuff like that. I mean,
oh yeah, the one I was showing you guys.
Yeah, I mean stuff like that.
It's a 3D print.
Yeah, I mean we can whip those out on my laser engraver in a weekend. What they probably go through in a month. So there's, hey, it might give people.
Yeah, but where their machines come from?
Where the supplies come from? Yep.
Well, MDF.
Right.
I'm just saying, you're going to see people adjust.
Yeah. But like this,
Well, no,
that's FDM
people are gonna
3D
adjust.
printed though. That's not MDF. And as we just discovered, who makes all the 3D printers except for like Prusa? And where does all the filament come from? Where does all the resin come from?
Yeah.
We keep not talking about BattleTech.
The
but
resin trees. Everyone knows that.
we keep not talking about BattleTech, but okay, Catalyst Game Labs isn't going anywhere. They might have problems pulling in some of that soft plastic from China, but people have been playing those kinds of games with, again, Ironwood Miniatures, and they've been around since the Rel Partha days. I mean, they can always get more metal. And again, it's literally a guy's barn in his backyard. Now, if he gets a big boom, he might have to buy 2 barns, but that might not be a bad thing.
I was going to say, worst problems to have.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody else is failing, and they came to me.
Yeah.
People pay more for their miniatures, but their miniatures are better. I mean, but it's just old school metal that you have to drill out. It's like literally, I think they used to be part of Rel Partha or something. There's some sort of relationship there. I don't know. We're talking about like the 80s of like gaming history. I can't remember. But that's going way back. They're still around. I mean, they're never going to challenge, GW or anybody, but they're around.
Right.
They've survived everything since the first death of BattleTech, and BattleTech came back. They were still here, waiting for it.
Yeah,
it's true.
Oh no,
Marty.
He's probably doing his little potty break.
No.
What'd you do?
I was listening.
No,
I was listening to Jim, talk about Ironwood Minis. And
I bored you. I bored you to sleep, didn't I? Your forehead hit the keyboard.
And all of a sudden, I got 3 little spinny wheels of death on all your screens, and it's like, oops, lost connection. I'm like, what do you mean you lost connection? I see the connection. My computer says it's good. So, hi, welcome back.
Interesting.
My name is Marty. Thanks for being on the show.
Well, it's to say the least, it's an interesting time. It's like anything. Some people will survive. Some will get stronger. Some won't. Some might not be affected by it at all. We'll just have to wait and see. It might help people concentrate on their favorite game that they have plenty of, and they can really get into the weeds on it, and all that good stuff. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah,
I think the real barometer test will be Origins in June. That's the gaming manufacturers convention. It's run by Gamma. It's in Ohio. That's where all the manufacturers get together. So we'll see what it's like.
What the rumbles are.
Yeah. Maybe by that time this whole tariff thing has gone away.
A little bit of we got a little bit of runway before we get to that in June. So maybe some things will. I mean, if nothing else, maybe some solid things will be in place, and the volatility goes away, even if it's a permanent tariff or whatever. At least we know what it is, and what it's going to be.
Yeah, certainty would help
in the
for
foreseeable
sure.
future. So people can forecast and
maybe
plan.
a balloon will go up, and we'll be doing this in 1-to-1 scale again. I mean,
that could be.
Wow.
Part of this kind of feels like the initial harbingers of doom from Y2K. Everything's going to break down. The world's going to end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could go either way.
Yes, I agree with you, Chris. But on the other side, we see the results if it actually goes into play. I mean, where do you see it? You already know what the tariff percentages are going to be.
Potentially, because that's been a moving target.
Yeah.
And particularly in China's case, it's only moved up continually.
Yeah.
So
I'm hoping you're right, Chris, and it will be sitting there at December 31st, 1999, like we did many years ago. Going, all right. I was
gonna say I got some good overtime that night.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I was working that night and waiting for the computers to go down, and nothing happened.
And like I knew it would. I was at the power plant in Michigan City, just waiting till 12:15 so I can go home. Prince had it all wrong. It seems like a good idea about partying like it's 1999. None of us were partying in 1999.
I was just getting to work. No, because my dad had like this huge thing at the Fontainebleau in Miami Beach. I mean, and I had to leave. I know,
Oh,
right?
nice.
What?
Drop
Oh
the
no, my
coin.
dad. This is my dad, not me. This is my dad. You know, don't get it twisted.
I didn't know you were
Is that-
independently wealthy. Do tell, sir.
Oh, my dad was picking up the tab on this one. Believe that.
Woo!
But the point
Way
is,
to
we
go,
were
Dad.
there. This is right after that big cruise to Alaska, and dude, it was living large in the States. But anyway,
Woo!
and yeah, I had to leave at like we did. I was there for the actual for midnight, but I had to leave like right after that to get back up to Fort Lauderdale by like 12:30. I was working all nights at the Sun Sentinel at the time, and the second I pulled in the parking lot, I saw all the lights on. I was like, "Oh, nothing happened."
Yeah, oh, we're good. Yeah.
The building isn't dark, or you know,
Yeah,
you
Yeah.
can hear the presses. The presses are like the size of a small train. You've seen
Yeah.
what those presses look like in real
Mhm.
life. I've worked right next to those presses, 3 stories tall and like 200 feet long, and they're like in rows.
Are you
Yeah,
talking
the Sun
newspaper
Sentinel, big
presses?
newspaper
Yeah.
down here.
Oh, okay. Because
Gotcha.
I mean, I remember going to the Tribune printing plant downtown.
We actually worked
And,
for the Chicago Tribune.
yeah.
We were actually
Yeah.
we worked for Chicago
the-
Tribune.
Oh,
Chicago Tribune at those days at least was owned by Chicago Tribune.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
like the one
Yeah.
they had the printing plant for the Beacon News in Aurora downtown, where the library is
Yeah.
now. But we used to do field
Yeah.
trips there when we were kids.
yeah, the big even back in those days,
Yeah.
the big robots with the rolling paper or whatever, they were. You can hear them from the parking lot. So the second we pulled in, we're like, oh, everything's good.
You like them big stampy
Yeah, I
robots,
missed the
don't
Sunday
you? There?
trip.
I'm sorry.
I said you like those big stampy robots.
Yeah,
Not- I didn't say stampy, I said stampy.
Yep, the big stompy robots that I'm not taking the bait on because up that hill.
So the newspaper,
Well,
Stampy Robot,
wait.
the
That's
game
what
is
I
a
was
mech.
saying. Stampy robot.
Is a mech. Tell him, Jim.
They
Go
just
ahead,
roll
get it.
around on wheels with these big rolls of paper on them. But yeah,
So basically, in 5 months, we could all be playing BattleTech because that's the only thing we can
or
get.
Panzer Leader.
So-
We might actually play a real
Yeah.
Panzer Leader.
game.
You ready for that one, Don? When Magic shuts down, you can't get it anymore.
Well, the good news is I have plenty of
Yes,
cards,
that's the
so it will just
And-
live on vicariously in my pile.
What? You don't want to learn how to play Panzer Leader? I did try to get you to play Squad Leader.
Oh,
Look, I played your survival
Man.
game. I played the
That's
survival game.
dust. That was
Panzer
Also-
Leader's
Hey.
a lot
Yeah, the
easier
popcorn
than
game.
Advanced Squad Leader.
Hey, Don. I still have all the dust
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
So do
there
I.
you go. Hey, how you doing, Marty?
Uh-huh.
And,
I've got 3 shelves of it up here.
I have a box
Yeah.
over here and a crate in the basement.
Some of that artwork is definitely
Nice.
interesting. True pulpy. You guys know what I'm talking about.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I actually still have my
You got your
Book
autographed
from-
book.
autographed custom artwork in it.
From
Yeah,
Paolo?
Paul signed his
Yeah.
rule book.
And some things aren't
Nice.
really going to be affected quite as much, like D&D. You
Exactly,
don't have as much of
D&D's got its own issues. They're gonna
Yeah.
they're gonna screw themselves. out
D&D's
of
got its
it.
own
Oh yeah,
problems,
I know.
brother.
What I'm saying is that their issues are not going to be affected by supply and demand.
No, they're just going to be affected by Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast, and you'd be lucky if
And
they
just
survive till
being
Christmas
idiots.
at this rate.
Yeah. Well, the top 2 already quit or retired.
A lot of them have
I
been
was gonna
fired
say,
and quit. I don't know what's going on there, but good.
Well, they
night,
were
that
trying
place is
to
up in
they
fire.
were trying to do a VTT like what's the one that you have R20
Yeah,
and they decided it wasn't gonna.
That's
Even
because
compete.
everything they touch is turning into a dumpster fire.
Well, what's the? I'm just going to show my own ignorance here, but what's the big deal? I mean, if you don't like some of the new, I mean, if a D&D player doesn't like some of the new rules, or if a D&D group doesn't like some of the new rules, or where the company's going, play the old editions.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say if only
Yeah,
there were
yeah. Ooh,
4
that's
other
blasphemy.
sets you could
Yeah.
use.
Or is it just
Yeah.
because
only if you could play second edition of AD&D,
Yeah.
man.
Eco, baby, to hit armor class 0?
Let me
Eco.
hit that Zacco. Zacco.
I know people who still play 3.5 and they won't step off of 3.5.
3.5.
I-
Who needs those newfangled games?
That's a millennials
Yeah.
game.
My shit came in a red box.
Yeah.
There you go.
I had the red box. I had the black box. I had the blue box.
I don't
I
have the
had
box.
them
But I
all.
still have that orange extremely sharp dice. You had to scribble in with chalk.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
There it is.
Remember we gave you
Step
the
on
crayon?
Yeah.
We gave you the
Yeah.
Step on
colored
that
in.
at 3:00 in the morning on your
Yep.
8th
Yeah.
trip to the
How
bathroom.
you
Go ahead.
doing?
Oh, and
I was so proud of my first set of D&D dice.
Yep.
They came in the red box.
hey, I played AD&D before I had AD&D.
I was gonna say you are AD&D.
I wish I had the H. I don't have the H anymore.
Well, you know, it's how getting old.
It is. It really is.
But I mean, I don't know. I mean, everybody's changing. Games are changing. Outlook are changing. Sometimes
Yeah,
not for the better.
I don't like the new Outlook at all. I'm talking about Microsoft product.
It's a hobby. It's.
Mhm.
I know for some people it's a business, but I'm like, Jim, why don't you publish this? I don't want it to be a business because I don't want to have to worry when stuff like this rolls around. It's a hobby,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
How
people
how much intellectual property have I given away over the decades? I mean, it's never been enough to, you know, replace my job. I mean, I've made a couple bucks here or there, but I've never tried to
Yeah.
make this into a business.
Yeah.
Um,
With my laser engraver, Marty and I could probably make some money, but that sounds like
You gotta have it working
It's
first,
up and
don't you,
running.
Chris?
Yeah.
Oh, is it up and running now? Okay.
However, we would have to use
Well-
it to make money. I think.
if you
I
make
heard.
your hobby into a job or into a business, it's no longer a hobby. You've made it into a
It's
job.
no longer your hobby.
Correct.
You know, the whole thing about if you love your job, it's never, you know, one day's work or
Yeah,
whatever
you'll
the hell
never
that
work
is.
a day in
work
your
a
life.
day in your life.
That's
Yeah,
I've never
crap.
agreed with that. I've agreed with that.
No.
Speaking from somebody who's owned how many dive shops now? 2, 3? It's a lie.
I mean,
Nothing like slagging tanks.
Hold on.
Back and
So your
forth.
hobby is not dive store ownership; it's diving. So you did it wrong. That's your
Correct.
fault. Wrong thing.
Well, diving, you have to somehow make diving a, you know, living wage type thing. You can't just go
Yeah,
diving
you
and
can.
make money.
There's people
So-
out there digging up, just swimming off coast and finding galleons in the.
go find some
Oh,
Spanish.
and
Yeah, Chris, you know how long it takes
and
those
do you know how
people to do?
millions of dollars they have to get in sponsorship to do that shit?
Yeah.
And how
There's a lot
how-
of divers on the boat.
Wait a minute.
And
Hold
they're-
on.
how much of that money they don't get to keep when they pull it up, even if they
Yeah,
find
it's
a
not their
bunch,
shit.
Yeah.
that
Get
all
your
goes
name
right
on
to
it.
Spanish government, the American government, Bahamian government, whoever.
Yeah.
Turns out it belongs
Yeah.
to, you know.
Oh yeah, and then the guy that has been
Yeah.
financing you for the last 3 years actually owns all of it. The whatever's left.
You know,
Hey,
he gets like
but you're
80%.
still getting paid
Yeah.
to dive.
There's a difference.
I've been
I mean,
part
there's
owner of a
difference
gaming
between-
store in 1990, and again,
No,
Never again.
we all
published on
agree.
Board Game Geek, published on again Slytherin, Steam. You guys know that one year where I was writing for Yobo War Games. Great experience, amazing people to work with. Lance, you know, shout out if you're listening. It's a lot of work.
Don't
man.
want to do that for a living though.
Well, and we all agree. Don't do what you love as work.
It's fun once in a while, but I would not want to have it as a job. It was a great experience. I wouldn't want to punch a clock doing it, you know,
Yeah.
50 weeks a year.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, Marty, I could see you owning a range someday, and just that'd be a lot of work. I mean, it'd be a lot of pain in the ass.
It would be a lot of work, and my customers would be upset because I would be out shooting using my range. And the rest of y'all can go screw yourselves.
The customer service here is terrible. It's real
That's
stores.
what happens. Somebody's got to clean the toilets.
Yeah.
Got to pick up all
No,
the brass.
not doing none of
you
that.
know.
Oh, I don't see any of that happening. That's the only reason I'm gonna make it public. I'm like, oh, since you're out here, you all have to pick up the brass. You come here. Here's a toilet brush.
And they're like, I'm paying you to use your range. Fuck you.
Now
So-
on the real, I am trying to talk my company into buying a plot of land and putting in a range complex, and I'm
I don't see that
over
happening.
halfway there. I've already got partial funding secured.
Easy there, Bon Jovi.
We're halfway there.
Although the
Nice.
living on a prayer part's probably more appropriate.
That's accurate.
I mean that's the shade of a tree that I'm never gonna sit under. but I am still I'm gonna work every angle I can on that one because
I burn everything to see a sunrise I'll never see.
right. See, Jim gets it.
What did Napoleon say? Well, we better plan them now.
I don't
It's
remember
an
that.
old story.
No, there's. I've heard the the old man, the plane trees.
Napoleon's like,
trees
can't you imagine the whatever that main drag is in Paris, having the trees big enough to provide shade for all of the French soldiers on the parade? And they're like, it's going to take forever. He's like, well, we better plan them now.
There we go.
Champs-Élysées. I'm trying to remember how to say it in French. I
Yeah.
know what you're talking about, Chris.
Yeah, I can see it written down. I can't pronounce it.
The
Yeah,
big
it's got
German, the big German walkway. That
Yeah.
Yes, there you go.
That one.
one. There you
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Champs-Élysées.
go.
Even though I'm predominantly French
Yep.
now. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. The next time you
Right.
check into 23andMe or
Ancestry.com,
whatever
it's going
the
on.
hell it
it's
is, you'll
gonna
be
fucking
something
different.
else.
Yeah.
Those sites are nonsense.
I always wondered why you were so weird. Now it makes sense.
French.
Yeah.
Frog.
And that's why we've been best friends since high school, because we're all the same.
So your German ancestors conquered the French, did a thing, and then there
Actually,
you
it
are.
was more of my Viking ancestors helped repopulate
Bill,
northern
This
France.
is your fault. You just started this, so strap in. Here we go.
No, I'm done.
How just
I've got my family all the way back to England on Dad's side to 16 something,
Rookie.
and
it depends on how thin a line you want to get.
Yeah.
Father's side does trace. Now it's not like a paternal father of the son begot, something like that. It's not a straight line. There's a lot of daughters in there. There's a lot of marriages in there.
Yep.
So
Right.
there's definitely some kooky geometry going there, but we do
Yep.
trace a line to the Stuarts. And once you get the Stuarts, used to be the kings of United England and Scotland, James I through the VI. And then once you get hooked into the Stuarts, you're into Mary Queen of Scots, and you go even further back to, I don't even remember when they start in Scotland.
So
You can sort of trace us back to like the late, mid 1400s. I mean,
wow.
that's if that line holds. Now,
I was gonna say, best of luck
Yeah.
sorting that out.
yeah. Like my mom used to say, oh, I'm related to Adam and Eve, so there.
I was gonna say, you might not,
Yeah,
Aren't
exactly.
we all?
you might not want to, follow that line too closely. 'cause
Well, I'm
you're
not
like,
claiming to be James VII of Scotland. I'll put it that way. I'm not
Yeah,
going to show
but-
up here. If I
You're
do
like-
get crowned, James VII of Scotland, all our problems are over. Don't worry about it. I'll remember where I came from.
I'm coming to the coronation.
Yeah.
I'm
Just
there.
don't hold your breath. I don't think it's going to happen.
You know, the problem is you get that far
But,
back and you're like, my cousin did what to my other cousin? Oh my God! Wait a minute,
You have
that's
to-
a
you have to
sister?
walk right
Wait,
past-
what?
They were how
You have to
old?
walk
Yeah.
right past Charles the Pretender, and we
Yeah.
lost that war
Yeah.
hard. 1745, the Jacobites, and we.
Wait a minute, we buried 2 kids
But
where?
genealogy is
Yeah.
pretty interesting when you start
Oh,
digging in.
genealogy is fascinating, and sometimes it's not always. You don't always find the best information out. about
Yeah,
your
like
family.
Chris's French.
No, you have to weed through a lot
Well,
of
no,
BS.
I don't know if it's worse than that or better than that. My
What's worse than being French?
my
Sorry,
my
Greg.
7th, 8th cousin, 6 times removed,
You could be
is
Irish.
Lizzie Borden.
All right, so here's the deal. I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there. If you have to use the word removed, it doesn't count. They're not really related to you.
Count.
They're removed, as you said. That's too
Yeah.
far out. I don't give a shit.
But it's still Lizzie Borden.
I mean, it's kind of cool to say you sort of have a line there, but
I do see that my daughter.
I didn't hand her a
occasionally-
hatchet. It's okay.
Yeah,
Then again,
and
once
she
you
was
start talking about-
exonerated.
once you start talking about words like removed, and then you get into cousins, and we were talking about that a second ago. We
Yeah.
probably don't want to get into that. It's
Yep.
it doesn't count because Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
Consolidating
Oh, boy.
you
power.
start talking cousins.
Leave it.
no, thank you. It's a family show, folks. It's a family show. Bill cannot edit the show, so we gotta.
Here we go.
But yeah, I mean, I trace my whatever so many grandfathers. I mean, this is direct descendancy. I've been able to find every record to James Lomax, and he fought with the Virginia Army during the Revolutionary War. I'm not sure which. I'd have to go back and look.
Pretty
see
sure
if
he
it
fought
lists
with
it.
the
I know he was in Virginia.
The,
He fought with Washington or whoever Washington's
Daniel
whatever.
Morgan had the 11th,
I don't know.
The 11th Virginia. That's
Pretty-
kind of the father of American Special Forces, right there.
pretty sure he fought with the Virginians in the
The Second American Revolution.
the
Not to get political or anything.
the Civil War, shall we say?
The uncivil.
Well, after the American Revolution, he got 40 acres in Tennessee. That's how he
And
ended
did
up
he
in
get a mule?
Tennessee.
Yeah, right.
And it was the
That's
wilderness back then.
Civil War.
Remember, Tennessee was the wilderness.
Oh yeah, that was back then. That was
And
that
then-
was 1000% frontier.
Yeah. And then his son fought in the War of 1812. So my whatever grandfather. And then so many grandfathers fought in, the war between the states. I won't say which side
But
we
they
were
didn't win.
on.
You do the math.
You guys ever see it's a cheesy old 80s because we're all 80s kids here. The old 80s vampire movie, Near Dark. I think it's Near Dark with Lance Henriksen.
I don't remember that.
Oh God, it had
Sounds
Bill
familiar.
Paxton in it, and I can't remember her name. She was Vasquez in Alien.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I think so. I'm looking it
So
up.
the new vampire joins the little coterie, the coven, whatever they call it, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, I've been a vampire since the '70s. I've been a vampire since the '60s. I've been a vampire since the '20s." And they finally go to Lance. He's like the boss vampire. How old are you? Let me put it to you this way. I fought for the South. He's like, the South? We lost. Of course, you got a picture of Lance Henriksen saying it, so it's not like me. So I used that in a role-playing game where my girlfriend Jennifer's character hooked up with a demon and didn't know he was a demon until found out he was a demon. And then he was like, he's talking about the war in heaven. So it's, one time we went to war with our boss. It didn't go very well. He's like, oh yeah, out come the huge eagle's wings. Yeah, we lost. I was like, oh my God, you ripped off that movie. No.
That is firing up the Wayback Machine because
Yeah.
I mean I think
Yeah,
I
it
saw
is.
that back then. Because I
Oh,
don't
that's an
remember
old
when I
movie,
saw it,
yeah.
but as soon as you started saying it had Bill Paxton in
It
it,
sort of looks
Did I get the name
familiar.
right?
I just
It's Near
looked it
Dark,
up.
right?
I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, it is. Yeah.
You
See, I
got it
don't
right.
remember
Yeah.
that.
100% sure.
No, the best vampire movie of the '80s was
Lost Boys.
Lost Boys.
Lost Boys.
Absolutely correct.
Yes.
Yeah, no sparkling
Yeah, right.
peaches.
And where the fuck was Blade when you
Kiefer
need him?
Sutherland,
Woo.
back in the day.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
she's actually now the richest person in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Who?
Jamie Getz.
Jamie Gertz.
Yeah.
She
Oh,
played Star in that movie.
Yeah.
She's in one other movie. And she got out of acting. Now she's in producing. She's worth like $4 billion or something, or some absurd amount of money.
Wow.
Yeah, she has got patents. She invented some stuff, and she invested wisely. I
Killing
mean,
it.
she just
I just remember being like 14 years old
Yeah.
going, whoa.
She wasn't. She was in a movie
Yes.
in
She's
New
been in
York
movies.
yeah, she was
with
in the movie.
Kevin
Bill Paxton.
Bacon on a motorcycle, or not a motorcycle, a bicycle.
She was never that famous of an actor.
Jamie Gertz, was she in?
Pee Wee's Big Adventure?
No, the racing.
No, not the racing one where Kevin Bacon was a messenger.
Oh.
Oh, here.
I know she was in Twister with Bill Paxton.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a famous one.
Yeah.
We have cows.
Yes. We got cows. I can't talk. We
Another
got
cow.
cows.
There goes another cow.
Yeah.
I think that was the same
The same
cow.
cow. Yeah. Speaking
You
of
got to breathe.
there
They
are
breathe.
tornadoes, how
You
y'all
breathe.
doing down there? You staying safe
what?
Where?
in Tennessee?
They're in Florida.
I don't know. We're not in Tennessee.
You guys had some pretty bad ones.
No, yeah, we.
Oh, we were fine.
That the week-long deluge of rain, that was like absolutely ridiculous. Fortunately, we did fine, and
I spent the night at the hospital
Yeah,
one night.
No flooding at your house. No flooding in your subdivision.
correct.
No, luckily we're on a high hill in Clarksville, so it would have to be a NOAA flood.
Hey,
Yeah,
don't
Don't,
put that into the universe.
I know, right? We're coming back to this again. Yeah. Let's not.
Chris, your
The
point's
hospital
well
was
taken because we're about to
fine.
enter hurricane season down here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every
Yep.
hurricane comes with a six-pack of tornadoes.
Yeah.
People often forget
Yeah.
that. It's
Yeah.
not the
That's,
hurricane that gets you, it's the tornadoes that come with it.
Jim, that's free, no charge. We do that for you.
It's a storm that throws other storms at you as we hurricanes down here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if
That's
it's
how
a
we
busy
sweep
season
Florida
or
man
not. I
off
haven't
the
heard what they
streets for a
said.
while.
No, it does.
Oh no, Florida man is
Who
full on.
was that guy in
hurricane.
Tampa Bay last year? He was like some homeless guy. He lived, then he was squatting on
Oh, on his
Yeah,
boat.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
on his
yeah.
boat.
some cracked out method.
Would I ain't
Before you know it,
moving?
he's like the most famous.
There's
homeless
my house.
for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
He's right
Yeah.
next.
Would it move?
He's right next to the Huck Toy Girl for like
Yeah. Huck Tuh.
Huck Toy. He's the crazy meth head living on somebody else's boat.
Yeah. I was gonna
Yeah.
say he was a squatter, right?
It's the Titanic. This ship ain't going down, dude. You're on like a 24-foot sailboat in a Cat 4 hurricane.
Also, I'd like
In
you to
Tampa
consider
Bay.
what happened to the Titanic.
Yeah.
Well, when all the water left Tampa Bay and people walked out into the bay.
That's usually a bad sign.
Yeah.
It's a bad sign.
Yeah, go ahead and collect up your stuff real fast because you got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, good time.
Well, all right, guys. I think we'll wrap up the show because we have gone off the reservation.
Again?
In a good way.
In a good way.
Shocking.
Hey, anytime we can tie 80s movies into the conversation.
Oh, we could
Somebody should
always-
make a Lost Boys game.
We are.
We're
Wouldn't that be
Wait
cool?
a minute. Did you say a game?
We've done the 18.
Yes.
A Lost Boys
We've done
game.
the 18.
Where you're
We've
No,
done
wait a
the
minute. Did you say
18.
make
With the
one
18.
or
With the
there
18?
is one?
Yes.
We've done the 18.
Oh, I
No,
thought you
make
said
one.
there is one. I'm like, what?
We've done the 18. We've done Aliens, and we've done Miami Vice. We have a fatal
Yeah.
four-way.
Damn.
Fatal
There you
four-way.
go.
There you go.
sounds like a Halloween game to me.
David and his crew.
Ooh, I like that
I
one.
trashed the one that looks like Twisted Sister. You know.
so you must be Max. Hey,
Good movie. I'll
and
have to
Bill
watch it
and
again.
Don,
Oh,
you guys
before we
have
leave,
to co-opt your two little doggies to be the hounds of hell.
Right.
Yeah, those are the hounds of hell.
can we?
They're so menacing.
Before we leave, can we have a moment of silence for the Iceman?
Yeah. There you go. We've got these movies.
Yeah.
Rip Val Kilmer.
Damn, man, that one hit me right in the gut. I mean, you knew it was coming.
Yeah.
He has
He was
not been
pretty
doing well
sick.
for a while. What I found kind of funny is how
Yeah.
nobody could stop talking trash about him when he was around. I mean, honestly, he was not an easy person to work with, by all accounts. He
That's
was
what I
not,
hear.
You know, but,
I don't
mean,
care. I didn't work with him. Make some cool movies.
Yeah.
And he
and all of
did.
a sudden, he's like the
Well.
best thing since sliced bread. I'm like, it's cool that he's getting it, but it would have been nice to see some of this a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
His role in
Yeah.
Tombstone as Doc Holliday.
You should have got the Academy
Ah.
We
Award.
just watched that again
so
the other
good.
day.
I'm
So good.
Huckleberry.
Yeah. Who doesn't know that, right? I said, who
What's
doesn't know
that?
that line, right? I mean, it's ubiquitous.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
500 must be a
Ah.
huge of a hand.
Well,
My dad used to pester me all the time to play poker with him. I broke him out of that by just constantly quoting Val Kilmer. I'm like, I was like, I don't want to play poker with you anymore because you won't shoot.
yeah.
Yeah.
When he's
Isn't that a
talking,
daisy?
yeah,
Cover
when he's
your ears, darling. I turn over to Jim. Cover your ears, darling. Of course, I'd always lose. But
when they're talking crap to him about looking bad, and he's like, sir, I'm in my prime.
yeah, you look it.
Yeah.
Then they start trash talking each other in Latin. I mean, that's one of those scenes.
Yeah.
Nobody else in the bar understands a word they're saying, but they can just tell by the inflection. Val's got the double-barreled open choke under the table. He's
Yeah.
just like, shh, here we go. Come on, guys.
Somebody
We don't
just
want
walked
trouble
over
in
your
here.
grave.
We don't want trouble in here in any language.
All right, guys.
Ah.
Good old Val. All right.
It's a goddamn piano player. You can't hit nothing. You're so drunk you probably see a double. I got 2 notes. One for each of you. Be quiet. I'll stop. Sorry.
And that's how we'll end the
I was
show.
gonna say that's the thumbnail right there. I love it.